they've spent a lot of time in Moscow, and hopefully they get something from that, because up till now, we haven't heard of Putin making any concessions. He's essentially still demanding the same things from Ukraine that he started demanding in February 2022 when he illegally invaded Ukraine. So there's only going to be progress when Putin makes compromises, and particularly needs to make compromises on territory. He wants to have all of the territory of the 4 provinces that he illegally annexed. But some of that territory is actually still controlled by Ukrainian armed forces, and they fought bravely to defend it. So President Zelensky cannot give up that land. There are also probably going to be further disputes over security guarantees. Ukraine needs the U.S. and European powers to guarantee that if Russia violates this agreement, as it has previous agreements, that the U.S. and European countries will defend it. And European countries have suggested they want to put troops in Ukraine in order to monitor and ensure that Russia does not violate any truce. But Putin is very, very much against that so far.
This is an opportunity when Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will say to President Putin, look, you know, you've got to come to the table on this. You've got to agree to this. Otherwise, the U.S. might provide Ukraine with more assistance, more weaponry, etc. You know, are we at that point, or do you think that President Trump, his patience with President Putin, will extend for longer?
I trust that Witkoff and Jared Kushner will try that. I'm doubtful that Putin is going to agree. I think Putin really wants to talk about economic agreements and investment, and he wants to talk about anything but making compromises that are necessary to have a real agreement with Ukraine. Now, I would say that Witkoff has suggested he's going to go to Kyiv after these meetings in Moscow, and Jared Kushner is going to go as well. And there he can meet with President Zelensky again and with his advisors. And I think that's really important, because Witkoff and Jared Kushner have spent a lot of time in Moscow, not as much in Ukraine. No, we don't even have a U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. It's just Witkoff, who's the envoy, who controls that portfolio. And if he spends more time in Ukraine, as I have since the invasion, he'll learn about the resolve of the Ukrainian people, the concerns Ukrainian people have about a ceasefire, why they don't trust that Russia is actually going to follow the ceasefire because of their experiences in Ukraine. And he'll see a country that's working very hard to be Western-oriented, to be an ally of the United States, versus Russia, which is a kleptocracy and an aggressor.